Hello and welcome to a special edition of Chuckles Cinema. For those of you wondering why I'm dressed somewhat like James Bond with the tie on the side and got my nice little pistol here, I am going over my top and bottom Bonds, what I consider the greatest and what I consider the worst. Now I'm going to start with the greatest. The first two Bonds, Dr. No and From Russia with Love, I consider two of the best Bond films in existence. Sean Connery is the perfect incarnation of James Bond. And plus, we don't have the goofy Q gadgets, which I feel hurt the Bonds when it came to like Thunderball and eventually the Roger Moore films, which eventually used all of his gadgets. These films didn't exactly have the bad guy was, you knew what his plot was right away. You knew him right away. You introduced him in the first few minutes. We built up until we actually saw the main villain, which I thought added immensely to these films. My next top Bond is the new version of Casino Royale. Daniel Craig's take on this is much better than, it brings back the Sean Connery feel to the James Bond movies. Now, some of you are saying, well, it's still got the goofy gadgets, sort of, and we see the villain right away. And Nick, how can you say this? Well, the thing is, the previous Casino Royale film was a comedy, and before that, it was only shown on British television. So technically, this is the first time this film has ever been shown. And plus, I'm a little bit of a poker fan myself, so having it focusing on poker, makes me happy. Then my final top Bond is one of Timothy Dalton's films, License to Kill. What this Bond does is it doesn't take the whole, he's got to save the world situation like every other Bond sort of does. What he does is he completely compiles it as a vengeance story. His friend Felix and his new wife Felix is completely injured, eaten by sharks. His wife is killed. And Bond is heartbroken because of this, because him and Felix throughout the entire series are best friends. So he hunts down the guy who did this and, well, as I said, seeks revenge. It's much deeper as an emotional stake at the Bond, and I have to say it's one of my favorites. Now for my bottom three Bonds. Now, I just said one of Timothy Dalton's was my favorite. Well, Timothy Dalton is sort of a polarized Bond because License to Kill, his other attempt to being Bond, was horrible. Now, it didn't have a cohesive story because it got way too confusing later on in the film. I eventually was able to guess certain lines in my first viewing. There's a point where someone gets kicked out of a plane when Bond takes off his boot. Oh, and I've been told to hurry up. Then my other one is Never Say Never Again. This is Sean Connery's last attempt as Bond, and he plays Bond as an old guy, and I have to say, having an old Bond is not fun. And then my last horrible Bond is the film Moonraker. This is with Roger Moore. And basically, it's Bond in space. I think they were trying to get off the whole Star Wars thing. And also, there's a Gonda car, so it just makes this film horrible. That's all I got. I don't know what I'm coming at you with next week, but I'll see you then. Back to you guys.